What's going on, guys, and welcome to the start of a brand new series on my channel. Now, if you follow me on Twitter, if you don't, link will be in the description, but if you do, you will know that I have been looking for a team to start a new series with. Now, I'm just going to put this out there straight away that this is not to replace the Bournemouth series. The Bournemouth series will definitely still carry on, but I don't want to spoil anything, but I'm not sure how long that series will continue for. So I'm looking for something to go alongside that and then replace that, when the series does come to an end. And I actually put out a poll on Twitter so you guys can help me decide, because I had a list of teams and I wasn't sure who I wanted to manage. Now, as I'm recording this video, I believe that Steaua Bucharest and Cruz Azul from Mexico were level on the voting, and then Spartak Moscow were the next best voted team. So I've had to decide between Steaua Bucharest and Cruz Azul. In the end, as you can see, I've opted to start as Steaua Bucharest. I'm going to explain my reasons behind that in a minute. Cruz Azul may be a save I revisit in the future. I think it will be a really interesting save. Of course, I've never seen a Mexican team managed on YouTube, I don't think. So, it could be an interesting save, but we'll see what happens in the future. Anyway, Steaua Bucharest is our focus now, and if I just take you to their competitions page, they have a rich history of winning trophies. They are the most successful team in Romania with 25 league titles, 20 Romanian Cups. They're actually the holders of the league title at the moment. They've won it 2 years in a row. So from that, you may be thinking, where is the challenge in this save? But if we look up further, 1986, Steaua Bucharest became the first Eastern European club to win the Champions League, or the European Cup as it was known back then. And my challenge for this save is to restore them to their former glories in Europe. But not only just try and win the Champions League with them once again, I'm going to try and do it as they did in 1986 with a full Romanian team. That is going to be my challenge for this series. I know it's going to be a huge task, but that is the reason why I've started this up. It's going to take me a long time to be able to do that. And for me, I hope that it will make for a very interesting series. Now, I'll just go back to the club's page for a second. You can see I haven't got a kit for them at the moment. And I also need to change their badge. And now there's an interesting story behind that. And you may not know, but in recent times, there has been a lot of controversy surrounding the club. But basically, the club were once upon a time owned by the Romanian army. And then after they left the Romanian army, they changed their name to what it is now, Steaua Bucharest, or Steaua Bucuresti. But in the last, I think, 2 years or so, the president of the club actually went to prison. And following him going to prison, there's been a massive dispute with the Ministry of Defense in Romania. It's very political stuff there. Basically, they claimed that the logo of the club, the name of the club, everything, the kits, all belonged to the Romanian army. There's been a massive dispute, and there's actually an interesting little piece on it on Copper 90's channel if you are subscribed to them. If not, I'll actually leave a link to the little piece in the description if you want to go and check that one out. But at one point, they was actually had to play some games with no logos on their kits, no Steaua Bucharest colours. They was basically known as the club with no name. I think in recent times they've actually made an agreement that they can use the club, the name, they can use the colours, but they've had to change their badge. So this is not their new badge. They have a new badge, and I'm going to look to try and get that in the game. But I thought that's a little bit of an interesting backstory I'll give you guys. And it adds, to the appeal of the club for me. It's a really interesting club. Of course, in the league, they've got a massive rivalry with Dinamo Bucharest. It's known as the Eternal Derby. So it's going to be really interesting when we come up against them. But we're just going to have a look at a few things. We'll look at our actual expectations for the season. We're expected to do really well this year. We're expected to win the league. We're expected to win the Romanian Cup. And we're expected to win the Super Cup, which of course is the Super Cup in Romania. So big expectations in our first season. And that's what you kind of would expect. I did say the challenge isn't really going to be in the league. It's going to be what we can do in Europe. And we're actually in the Champions League this season. I'm guessing we're going to come in at one at one of the early qualifying rounds. But let's have a look at the squad. I don't want this episode to be too long. It's just a getting started episode, run you through my reasons why I've decided to start this save. But let's have a look at some of the few players. I'll sort it by ability. So we've got Guilherme now. Of course, I mentioned I'm going to be trying to do this save and win the Champions League with an all-Romanian side. So we've got Guilherme here if it wants to load his profile. There we go. He's Brazilian, so he's a player that we're going to have to eventually move on. But I think he could be good for us now. He looks very good as a very good left back. We'll look through a few more players. Paul Papp, 24 years old, centre back. Looks decent, lacks pace, but he looks decent. I'm not sure, how our squad compares to some of the other top sides in the division. I'm guessing, that we've got the best squad in the division. We've certainly got a very big squad. But if we look at Raul Reziscu, some of these names I'm definitely going to have a hard time pronouncing, so you're going to have to bear with me. On loan from Sevilla, he looks pretty decent. His composure's not great, but he's got good finishing, good off the ball, and his physical attributes are quite good, so he should be a decent player. Only on loan though for Sevilla. I'm not sure if we have a future fee agreed with him. And there's one name that pops out to me on this list, Nikosos Stankiu. Of course, if you're following the Bournemouth series, if you're not, link will be in the description. We have him at Bournemouth, turns into an excellent player. So excited to work with him again. And I've heard of this guy, Gabriel Iancu, 20-year-old, looks fantastic, doesn't he? Young prospect, another attacking midfielder, excited to work with him. So that's promising that we've got some really good young players. That bodes well for the future. Anyone else of particular interest? I think this is our captain, Christian Tanase. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. I'm going to have to learn these pronunciations, I think. But he looks really good as well. 37 caps for Romania. Inside forward, left winger there. Looks pretty good. So we've got some decent players. Of course, I've literally just started up the save not too long ago. So I haven't had a real chance to look at the squad in depth and analyse where we really need to strengthen players. But let's have a look at our budgets for this season. So we've got a budget of 424,000. I can probably boost that up a little bit because we've got a bit of spare wages there. So we'll see. We'll see what we can do with that. But again, I didn't want this episode to be too long. Kind of wanted to just quickly run you through, again, the save, what my plans are for it. But I'm really excited. I think this could be a great challenge, of course. To win the Champions League with an all-Romanian side is going to be a mammoth task. But it's something I'm really looking forward to. And I hope you guys, do enjoy following me in this journey. But if you did like this first episode, be sure to leave it a like. I'm just going to look at the fixtures quickly. We'll see. We've actually got the Super Cup. So I mentioned we're in the Super Cup. So I may come back for that Super Cup game. Of course, it's quite early on in the summer. It's just under a month away, in fact. So I'm not sure. It depends on actually as well when we come in the Champions League. I'm guessing that we're going to come in one of the early qualifying rounds. But of course, I'll update you guys when that comes around. Again, if you like this episode, this introduction episode, make sure you hit the like button. And if you're not subscribed to the channel just yet, please do subscribe to the channel. But for now, it's been HalfbackFM, and I'll see you guys in a bit.